US-Ukraine negotiations. Will Russia choose peace or face sanctions? After more than 8 hours of intense negotiations in Saudi Arabia on March 11th, the United States and Ukraine have proposed a ceasefire agreement. But will this push Russia to accept peace, or will Moscow continue to assert its control on the battlefield? A deal on the table. Will Russia choose peace or war? Following the discussions, the United States and Ukraine announced that Kyiv is ready to accept a temporary ceasefire under Washington's initiative. In return, the US pledged to resume military aid and intelligence sharing to support Ukraine immediately. According to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, this proposal is designed to force Russia to make a choice between peace and facing severe sanctions from Washington. "We will send this proposal to Russia and hope they say yes. If they refuse, they will face serious consequences," Rubio stated. Under this agreement, all combat operations on land, air, and sea would be suspended for 30 days, with the possibility of an extension if Russia agrees. Ukraine under pressure. Russia gains momentum on the battlefield. Analysts believe that this ceasefire proposal is a way for Ukraine to avoid further setbacks, as it has suffered significant losses in recent days. 1. On the battlefield, Russia is intensifying its attacks on strategic cities, aiming to encircle Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region. 2. On the home front, Ukraine is struggling as US military aid has been suspended under President Trump's directive, leaving Kyiv short on air defense ammunition and weakening its ability to sustain its fight. Notably, the ceasefire proposal does not mention territorial concessions, something Ukraine has previously refused. Samuel Sharap, a political scientist at the Rand Corporation, observed, "This is a smart move by Ukraine. They have shifted the pressure onto Russia, forcing Moscow to either accept an unfavorable agreement or face Trump's intensified sanctions." US sanctions threat. Will Russia back down? President Trump has warned that he will impose large-scale tariffs and sanctions on Russia if hostilities do not cease. Senator Lindsey Graham has taken it a step further, vowing to introduce a bill in Congress that would sanction not only Russia, but also any country purchasing Russian goods, including oil, gas, and uranium. The goal is to cripple Russia's economy if it refuses the ceasefire. However, Moscow remains defiant. Russian Senate Vice Chairman Konstantin Kosachev stated, "We will not let Washington dictate the terms of peace. Russia controls the battlefield, and the real decisions are being made on the front lines, not in negotiation rooms." Mark Stone, a Sky News analyst, remarked that while a 30-day ceasefire could be a crucial step toward ending the conflict, the ultimate decision rests with the Kremlin. How will Putin respond? Russian President Vladimir Putin has long stated his non-negotiable conditions for any peace agreement. 1. Ukraine must withdraw completely from Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia, the 4 regions Russia has annexed. 2. Ukraine must commit to neutrality and abandon its NATO ambitions. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized that Russia is open to diplomatic solutions, but will not forfeit its battlefield advantage unless its conditions are met. Russia is always ready for negotiations, but any agreement must align with our strategic interests, Peskov stated. Is Trump serious about diplomacy? President Trump claims he prioritizes diplomacy and maintains a strong personal relationship with Putin. However, if Russia refuses to negotiate, he may face pressure to adopt a harsher stance against Moscow. Meanwhile, Trump's special envoy for the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is expected to visit Moscow to engage with Russian leadership. Can Witkoff convince Putin to accept the ceasefire? Russian officials confirmed that they would engage in discussions with US representatives in the coming days, but did not specify whether they would agree to the Washington-Kyiv proposal. Will Russia accept or reject the deal? Analysts suggest that Russia may 1. Negotiate some terms in its favor. too, but struggle to secure full territorial control. Fyodor Lukyanov, head of the Russian Council on Foreign and Defense Policy, commented, "There will be no ceasefire agreement unless the conditions for long-term peace are agreed upon. Right now, there are no concrete terms on the table. Everything must be settled later." With momentum on the battlefield, Russia may not rush to accept the deal unless Washington exerts enough pressure to force a compromise. The future of the war depends on Russia's decision. 30-day ceasefire could open the door to peace talks, but if Russia rejects it, Ukraine risks running out of resources. Washington is prepared to escalate pressure, but Moscow still holds the upper hand. Will Russia choose diplomacy, or will it continue pursuing military gains? What do you think Russia will do next? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.